Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I will be doing a plan with me in my Erin Condren Vertical Life Planner. I will be using the Snow Day kit from the Prairie Planner. If you haven't seen my videos before, I actually do PR for the Prairie Planner, so you can use my code Ashley20 to get 20% off your order. So I won't show you the kit because it's honestly a mess because I tend to coordinate between two planners and like to do some prep beforehand before I start the videos. But I thought I would get started laying down the base. And while I laid down the base, I thought I could talk a bit about how my week went. So first of all, if you've never been here before, you might not know that I'm actually a grad student. So I'm in my PhD program at a Canadian university. And so I use my Erin Condren planner to plan my academic life. So everything to deal with being a PhD student. This often involves things like TAing, sometimes courses, my research, so my main dissertation, as well as often like side jobs like doing research jobs or consulting jobs, as well as any extra things like volunteers, committees, funding, which was a big thing this week. And so I plan all my academic stuff in this planner. I then will use my preppression weeks to plan my life. And so this is everything outside of academia. And I like to separate the two. One, just because I really like planning, and the more planners I have, the more stickers I can use. Two, it's also nice to kind of like keep them separate because they are different things. I think it's trying to help me have better work-life balance. Although I've been thinking in future years I might eventually combine them into one. And anyways, I don't show my impression usually on my channel just because sometimes I like just planning without talking through everything. It slows me down a lot. And usually, because that's a smaller planner, it's quick to plan. So usually I'll film planner reels. So you can actually check out my Instagram if you haven't already, because that's where usually I post all my Instagram reels. I also have TikTok as well. Also, I'm at Plan with Ashley Lynn. Both are at Plan with Ashley Lynn, like my channel. And so you can follow either of them to see how I plan. And so for this week, I usually like having some type of foil kit. I used to have like these foil rolls, but I have since been switching to kits, but I want to use up some of the foil I already have from rolls and from kind of just like randomly I've gotten over time. So this week I was debating what foil to use, and I wanted to use a fun foil. And so I had some leftover blue foil and leftover pink hollow, so I actually decided to combine them together because I thought it would just be fun to, I feel like with the pinks and purples, the pink hollow looks best, but with the blues, the blue looks best. And so I thought it'd be fun to combine them. So we'll see what it looks like together. But so for now, I'm laying down some old foil rolls that I had for years now. I decided to pre-do it, one, just for timing, or else this video would be an hour long. Let's see if this comes up easily. But two, also because the foil rolls are pretty old. And so it's a bit hard to grab foil off them. So these, also the foil like boxes are a bit bigger than the standard vertical boxes. I don't know if Erin Condren used to be bigger. I don't think they're necessarily happy planner size because they're not that large. But so I decided to lay these down first, and then I'll cover them up with glitter headers just to cut off the rest of the pink hollow foil. So I'm trying to figure out like how to best format these videos still. I kind of just use a jumble of talking about what I'm doing while also talking about my week. So I'll probably jump into the week, and if there's anything to note, I'll interrupt myself and mention it while I put down the base and lay down the day-to-day. So for this week, I remember being kind of shitty. So at this point of the semester, we're 3 weeks in, which normally does not, it gives me a bit of panic. Normally, like, I don't know, 3 weeks in does not sound bad, but at my school, we're on a 12-week semester. So at this point, we're a quarter of the way through the semester, which is really scary because I'm like, oh, we're 3 weeks in and I have done nothing all semester, which normally, like, isn't weird because 3 weeks in, like, usually you need a week to kind of adjust and plan, and then you're just getting into things, and then suddenly we're at 12 weeks. We do have 2 exam weeks as well, so technically it's 14 weeks, but in terms of coursework, we're already a quarter of the way through, so it's scary. But it was also kind of shitty as well because I was sick earlier this week. So if you didn't know, I have an autoimmune disorder, and it's a chronic autoimmune disorder, and so it can at times make me feel pretty shitty. And so I was feeling kind of shittier earlier this week. And I don't know, when I feel shitty physically, it also impacts me mentally. So I take it pretty hard when I'm not able to be productive. And so, yeah, I remember being a little hard on myself. Now for the glitter headers, I am laying them down and I am color coding day by day. It's something like a lot of folks have been doing lately, and I just love the look of color coding. As long as there's enough boxes to plan each day, then I'll end up usually doing it. But yeah, so as I was saying, this week was kind of shitty. Not just that, I had a doctor's appointment Wednesday, and I remember being quite nervous for that doctor's appointment. Because I had some tests back in December, and so I wasn't sure what to expect. I was hoping to hear like the medication's been working, and nothing else is going wrong really. So luckily that seems to be the case, like other than being deficient on some stuff and still just managing symptoms, it seems to be working, the medication, so it's good in that way. And as well as OGS. So if you are not Canadian or you're not from Ontario, OGS is the provincial funding we have to apply for. So as a grad student, you're kind of expected to apply for funding. So basically how grad school works, especially like research programs, is you're funded to conduct research. So when you apply in your offer letter, they guarantee you a certain amount of funding. Usually it's not a great amount of funding. Usually it's enough to pay tuition and a little bit of life, but it's not a lot left over. So usually you have to pick up things like TA-ships and extra work. And so funding allows us the ability to prioritize our research so that we don't have to take on these extra jobs, which is nice in that sense, especially as someone with like health issues too. It's nice to kind of have that security that if I have a flare up, that I don't necessarily have to be devoted to working every single week. Because with like TA-ships and other jobs, like you don't really get a say much in your workload and when you work. Compared with research, you get more of a say. So basically in the fall time, so depending whether it's master's or PhD, usually apply in September or December. And then provincial funding is due in January, so January 31st. And so funding, as I said, it's good for, you know, I forgot to Oh, I forgot a glitter header. Okay, I'll add glitter after to overlay this glitter header. But yes, so sorry, as funding's great, not just to help support you, but then also I think it relieves a bit of pressure on schools to like have to kind of provide you with that work. So it's really important that you apply. You're kind of expected to apply. There's also other funding opportunities, like sometimes niche ones, but this is the one that basically like all students apply for. And so with funding apps, it's always a stressful time because you have other stuff going on that you need to prioritize, but you can't like half-ass funding apps or else you're not gonna have a chance to get them. And so it's a bit of a stressful time because there's this pressure to put into the funding apps with also trying to balance everything else going on. It's also a bit disheartening every year. Like, I haven't won funding yet. So it's a bit disheartening, like, putting all this work in and not winning it. And then every season you're kind of reminded that you didn't win it. And then so I kind of feel like, why am I trying this year? I'm probably not going to get it. But obviously you want to try, because if you don't, there's not even a chance to get it. And so for the overlays, I decided to do the blue foil on the blue in this like aquamarine color. And then I used the pink hollow on the purple and pink. I also have these, I don't know what you call them, like foil, no, extra washi? I don't know what you call it. So I actually picked it up for the Groovy kit because I got the Groovy foil bundle, but I think I've decided to use a Groovy foil bundle with another kit I picked up. And so I have this extra, and I thought it matched well. And since I really liked the blue foil hearts, I decided to add it into this kit. I guess it's maybe a bit darker than this blue, but I think it matches like the cup and the jacket and the tube a lot. I think this kit is just so fun. First of all, I love the colors. I think obviously if you've been watching a couple weeks, you can tell because all my kits have been blues and I guess other than this one, blues and purples for winter, and I have even one, maybe two more. But it's also nice and bright too. And I don't know, I just loved like the theme of especially the tubing. I was never one, like I've never been skiing or snowboarding in my life, but I have been tubing, and so I think it's a fun spread. And so I forgot to cut this off screen, but I also did not know how large. Like, I feel like some of the bows are gonna be cut off, so maybe I will lift this up. Luckily this peels very easily. It's quite large. Like, I wonder if it's gonna be even still cut off. Maybe down here. Let's see how this looks. I did not really put much thought and care into it. That's why like this is folded, and I think this is folded too. I just started slapping stickers on because sometimes that's my mood. Not that I love this hobby, I do, and I find a lot of peace in it, but sometimes I don't have the patience. I don't know if it's, I wouldn't say like it's not, maybe it's not I don't know. Maybe I just get too excited almost to lay down stickers that I do not think about taking my time. Okay, so maybe I'll lay this down and maybe I'll cut off the off screen. Alright, I'm back. I have a extra header overlay to add onto here. And so I've laid down the base. I kind of actually really like how this looks. It's not my like typical style anymore. Like I do like foil bundles, and like I think like this is a foil bundle from Prairie Planner, and it's so gorgeous, and the same with this one too. But I'm happy. It makes me happy in a different way, and that I'm using my stash of things I wasn't sure how I was going to use, and I found a way to use them. And so I did make the bows a bit long. I also think the hollow is cool because it, like, I don't know if you can see, it almost kind of has a blue tone to it and a gold tone to it. I don't know. I think it looks cool, so I love the look of the blue hearts too. So now I'll get into the day by day. My desk is a complete mess. I'm gonna try to clean it up. But yes, I'll get into the day by day now. And so Monday was actually a pretty busy day for me. I think I had 6 or 7 meetings lined up, but I ended up with a pretty bad headache that kind of turned into a migraine partway through. So I had to go lie down and cancel some of my meetings. Oh gosh. And so I always struggle with when to mark headaches. Like, I guess that's kind of a con of having everything separate planners, is that things in my life do impact my work. Like, it's hard to sometimes draw that line between work and life. And so it'd be like kind of nice in a way to note that I had a pretty bad migraine this day, and so that's why I didn't get a lot done. Although it looks like I got a lot done. Like, it's the day with the most stickers. And so I still want to mark that I had this meeting and that it was rescheduled. I don't always put rescheduled things in. I think why I want to mark it though is because I rescheduled, like, usually if they're canceled, I don't mark them in. But since it was still ongoing, I just missed it because of the headache. I still want to mark it. So as I said, Monday was like literally meetings all day long. I don't even think I got like any work done, maybe some emails. So I had a TA meeting to start. So I meet with other seminar TAs, and then we kind of discuss the week and go over the content for the week. And then I had a team meeting. So I don't know what to call myself. So technically my role title is project manager. It's hard to explain my workplace because it's consulting, but it's not kind of consulting, and like it's research but applied to the community. So I often go back and forth, but we had a team meeting for this project, which we'll have ongoing on Mondays. And then also, because I'm our project manager, I met with my actual manager to discuss updates. Then I had intake, so I'm a facilitator for a support group, and support group actually starts the following week. So we have intake meetings. I think I actually had 2 meetings this day. I just marked 1 though. And so we meet with folks we intake for the support group, one-on-one, just to explain to them what it's about. And then I also had a facilitator meeting for this, but I didn't end up going because I wasn't feeling great. So I still had a pretty like productive day considering. I guess I always struggle with, should I put things kind of in order of when they occur. For the most part, they are in order, except this. Well, no, I guess I had this, then I had this, then I had an intake. Or maybe this was later. I don't know. I always struggle with when to do in order. Sometimes it just, for me, depends on the sticker I have, the script I have, how many events that I have that day, when I can best order them. And so Tuesday, I guess, was actually a pretty productive week. I don't know, maybe I lied, and maybe I've built it up in my head that I didn't do a lot this week, and it was kind of a shitty week. But so far, things are looking pretty good. So Tuesday, I worked on a work plan. So as project manager, I have to like create a work plan for the project we're working on. And so I created the work plan for that, or I guess I edited it, probably to send to the partner. And then I had a program. So this program's for grad students who also struggle with different illnesses, to kind of like learn to balance their illness with what's going on with being a grad student. And so I had the program that day. I also struggle with like these kind of things where it's like kind of mix of school and a mix of life. but I decided to put it in this planner because I thought it was just most, like, it's still a program offered through the school, and it's still focused on like setting goals around work, and like part of the program, like they also offer like study halls where we get to work through, like, apply what we learn, the techniques we learn to our work. Generally, I was diagnosed with a chronic illness back in 2020, so like now I have learned techniques, but I thought this program could especially help me in the long run with work, because I tend to burn out. Like, I tend to go hard when I'm feeling good, and then I flare up, and then suddenly I burn out. And so it's like this unequal balance of doing a lot and then doing nothing and just being burnt out. And so I thought this program might be able to help kind of at least balance that a bit more. I also, as I said, have funding, so I worked on my app this day, and then I worked on my QE. So if you haven't been on this channel before, and I'm sorry if you have, because you've heard me explain it a million times, but the QE is my qualifying exam. And so right now I'm in the stage of, I think, so I had to present it to my program a couple weeks ago. And then last week I met with my supervisor to talk about feedback, and then I think I was then thinking about how to implement the feedback. So we like kind of debriefed about the feedback, and now it was like, okay, go to the literature, see what the literature says about the feedback and how to incorporate it with my model. And so that's what I was doing that day. Wednesday, because I had a doctor's appointment, what sucks about like specialists is like you set them months in advance, and so you don't really get say over it. So I had to miss. This is brown bags, so it is technically a course, but I don't consider it a course because it's not like we have typical readings and assignments. How it works is basically you do a research talk once a year, and so you do a talk on the research. So there is prep, like there is that presentation aspect, but for the rest of it you're just providing feedback. And so I had to unfortunately miss that because of my doctor's appointment. And then, oh, you know what? Also, there was a snowstorm this week. Yes, there's a snowstorm, and things moved online for these days. Anyways, so I also, SESI is my job, so I also worked my job. I think usually I mark SESI when it's like small little things, not related to necessarily project work. I don't want to say, no, it is related to project work, but it's not like I'm working on a deliverable for the community partner. Instead, I would be theoretically working on like maybe some emails and things, which does take up time, especially as a project manager. So, or like writing an agenda for a meeting. So just kind of little things. I'll mark that though. I like marking it still though, because it's a paid by hour job, so I like at least keeping track of when I'm working each day. And lastly, I am planning faster than I'm talking, which I think is the first. Usually I struggle to think of things. Lastly, I had another intake for a support circle. Thursday, I had writing groups, so I signed up for 2 writing groups this semester. I guess it's the size of the stickers, because writing group's technically first this day. But, so I had writing group this day. Generally, a writing group, what's nice is, like, it's flexible, so you don't have to attend every week. But it's time set aside that I can write on QE, OGS apps, I think is what mainly I worked on, but I can do the things I've been kind of avoiding that week and make sure I get them done. And what's nice too, in a way, like, it's scary when you look at my schedule, because I have these like 3-hour like things blocked into my weekly schedule, but then it doesn't actually take up 3 hours of my day. And like, usually when I look at my schedule, I'm like, oh, I have all these meetings blocked out, which only leaves like a few hours a day to work on research or whatever I have to work on. But this technically isn't a meeting. Like, it's not like I'm stuck talking about something. Instead, it's me getting to write. And so this day I worked on my OGS app some more. I also met with my supervisor, so we meet once a week just to kind of discuss my process, with my research and check in. So this day we were talking about my QE and kind of next steps on working on my proposal, because I really need to get that submitted to my committee. With the QE, it's a bit weird because it's this examination process. So my QE committee can only kind of provide me feedback with the proposal, and then at the final defense when they read my draft. So I really want to do well on the proposal, because that'll be really the only opportunity I get to follow up with them. I could still meet with them and like kind of discuss their feedback a bit more, but I can't like send them drafts and get feedback on drafts. Like the QE is completely independent, and so this is my one chance to get their feedback. So that's moving forward my priority. And then I also prep for my seminar on Friday. So usually that involves like reviewing and editing slides. Now Friday. So Friday I taught my seminar. Again, the day's a bit out of whack. So I taught my seminar, and then I had to meet with the TA coordinator this day because I had an incident in seminar, which is what the not today sticker's for. I was like really, really mad. And so I just needed to chill. I also had writing group in the morning. I don't know what I accomplished. I'm guessing it's small things like emails and stuff, because I don't have like any major things checked off here. And Saturday, normally I'd use a weekend sticker, but I don't know if I have room. I can do week or end. Maybe I'll do an end sticker. Like, cut it and just write the end. I'll see if they fit, but I don't think they will. I don't know, maybe. Okay, so Saturday I took the day off, which was really nice. I always struggle when I take days off, because like in my planner it looks so empty, which is why I'm liking the double sticker format. It looks so empty, and it's so hard that day to not do work. But in terms of, I don't think I'm gonna have room for both in the weekend sticker. But in terms of like, it's amazing I still worked a weekend, because like one weekend day, because theoretically you want to treat it as a 9 to 5, but it really does not. I'm gonna totally use end. Theoretically you want to treat it as a 9 to 5, but it doesn't always work out like that, especially because I had OGS due. I wanted to. This is how done I am with school. Okay. I forgot what I was saying, but yes, essentially I feel bad, but not working. Like, there's a lot of guilt, but I always recognize that's a little weird because most people don't work weekends or work every day, so it's still good. I guess I took a day off. And then the Sunday, like, it does not look like a lot. I'm like, oh, this is what I struggle with sometimes with planning. It's like, I'm like, oh, I did 2 things. I think I literally worked like 12 hours. Like, I don't know. I think I worked from like 9 a.m. to like 10 p.m. I did take like an hour for lunch and an hour for dinner. So not exactly, but I don't know. It was a long day, and it was literally like grading in the morning and then OGS app for the rest of the day, and I really wanted to finish it this day because it was due the following Tuesday, but I wanted it done and out of the way since the Monday I had an infusion. This is the following week, and usually the infusions make me feel shitty, and I just didn't know if I could dedicate the time, and I really just wanted to get it sent off and out of the way. And so it was actually, I guess, a pretty productive week for what felt kind of shitty. I'm really liking the final spread. I might go in and add like a little deco piece here. I don't know yet. If you want to see the final spread though, you can check it out on Instagram. I'll post a picture of the final spread there. And I hope you enjoyed this plan with me. I had a great time kind of chatting through my week. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.